Hello everyone, the lighting collector here, and what you're looking at is a Westinghouse F90T17 industrial or shop light fixture. This was made probably between 1946 to like 1952 or so. Can't remember the exact opening date of the company this was installed at, or the factory. For those unaware, this came from an abandoned valve manufacturer in Cincinnati, Ohio, called Powell Valves, and this was probably one of the largest efforts in collector history to save fixtures in general. Like, I want to say there were rather, probably over 300 fixtures saved and dispersed throughout the community, and I think 50 or 60 total collectors were out there removing these things from the place before it got demolished. Anyways, there were a couple variations, and the ones that I got are both Westinghouse, which is perfect because it's my favorite brand, and they have the metal reflectors, which are over here. Let me just show y'all. I know I filmed startup videos of these a couple years back, but I wanted to make an actual video explaining a little bit about it and things like that. And also, I've since got a couple more starters, a few more lamps and such. I plan on getting more lamps, more starters, and installing these two fixtures pretty soon. But for now, I just have these, and here's the reflectors for them. They got little perforations there to put some light up above and to help with heat. And yeah, they're very heavy fixtures. Of course, that's porcelain, enameled metal there, or steel. And then you got your little springs to hold it on, and the ginormous ballast. It's like literally 18 inches or so long. For comparison, we'll grab an old Rapid Start T12 ballast here from the 70s or whatever and just show you the difference between, it's basically two of these ballasts. It's ridiculous. And then the bulbs themselves are huge too. Oh, perfect. There's actually a T12 lamp right here that we'll just grab so you can see the difference between T17 and T12 there. So that gives you an idea. And then for even more comedy, since I happen to have one nearby as well, here's a, don't you dare go anywhere. Here's a T8 lamp versus a T17. Look at that. So these things are huge, and I believe they have about, I think, 6,000 lumens each, these lamps, which is nothing to scoff at. This was the second ever form of high output fluorescent lighting, the first being rectified, which was kind of iffy. It was DC, running with transformers to run on AC. This was the first attempt at a fully AC system for HO type fluorescence. And we're gonna go ahead and start this up with brand new starters, because the ones that I had last time just weren't that great. A couple of them were bad. And these lamps are in better shape too than the other ones I used, so go ahead and just see also how much it uses. I want to see the health of these ballasts now, with the little kilowatt here. And sorry about the disastrous mess. I'm about to move, so it's just not great. There we go. There's one. There's the other. And we're running at 1.65 amps, 191 watts, which is actually pretty good. Power factor of 95. Wow. Holy crap. So to put that in perspective, this ballast is definitely near or at around 80 years old. Granted, it did not operate for over 20 years, because it looked like in the videos and also talking to people that the last like updated papers and stuff in the building were from like 2003 or something like that. So that was probably the last time this this stuff was operating. So they weren't on for, you know, or off, I should say, for too long, but still, it's quiet for the most part. And it's drawing the rated amps actually better. Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, about 200 watts total, which is around 20 watt ballast loss. That's not bad. Power factor of 96. Westinghouse for you guys. So it's pretty bright. Like I said, these are 6,000, I believe, lumens each. I'm pretty sure. And these bulbs haven't ran in a while, so they need to warm up a little bit. Because this ballast is really old, I'm not gonna like cycle it a bunch. I'm gonna let it run for a bit because it hasn't been turned on in a couple of years. I haven't touched these in a while. But I did just want to get a video of one of these fixtures on the floor like this to explain a little bit about it, because I was trying to find a lot of videos of this stuff and really nobody's filmed F90T17 stuff, even though I know a lot of people who have these fixtures. They just haven't uploaded the videos of them yet. So I figured, what the hell? I'm recovering from being sick and starting to feel a lot better, so I might as well throw one of these up and or throw one of these on the cord here and mess with it for a bit. I do hope to get a couple of different color temperatures of lamps, because everything I have currently is cool white. I have a couple of friends with some daylight stuff that I've been trying to get to let me have at least a couple of their lamps. Just because it'd be nice to have variety. I know you'll never find the warm white. I don't even know if they made this stuff in warm white, because the sole purpose of these lights were for factories and assembly lines and things like that. Warehouses, whatever. They were never intended to be in an area where you cared too much about the color. They were meant to be bright and efficient and easy to work underneath, and that's what they did. So I think they only have them in cool green, or only had them in cool green, daylight, and cool white is probably the only 3 color temperatures you could get with these. So yeah, we're sitting here at 97 power factor, which is amazing. Now we're up at 218 watt, 1.82 amps, because now the tubes are fully illuminated. They've warmed up. These have sat through the cold 2 years in a row during the winter, and then gone through the heat and everything else. So they haven't been ran in a while, these bulbs. But for being so old, the fact that this operates so well is just remarkable. And this is the reason why I really like Westinghouse, is I have great luck with their old stuff. I mean, I got a lot of old Westinghouse stuff that just works, and it's ancient, like this OV10IB right here from like 1957 or whatever year it's from, with the original capacitors. It runs a 1.00 power factor, which is perfect. That's exactly what it would have ran at new. Then behind it, the Westinghouse ballast can from 1955 that runs like a 0.97 power factor and draws the amps rated on the tag. And that thing is 70 years old, you know? 71 this year. So I am really, really impressed with the quality of Westinghouse, and the fixture itself is really well built. It stood the test of time. The fact that the label still exists, and look, it's drawing the exact rated amps that it says it's supposed to on the tag. 80 years later. That's just remarkable. Truly, that is remarkable. And you can just see the brightness of this now. We go back to the back here, and yeah, I know it's kind of buried in the stuff, but that's pretty good. That, if it's 6,000 lumens a lamp, which I'm pretty sure it is, that would mean that these 4 F40T12s make up the exact same lumens total as just these 2 bulbs do. So that's pretty good. And these use more power total, You got, that's probably running about 90. Well, I guess it's kind of the same now that I think about it. Close to being the same. You got about 90, 100 watts per fixture. So yeah, maybe they're pretty much the same, but it's less tubes, so you don't have to have as many lights installed to do the same lumens. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but these are 5-foot tubes, which is interesting. They did make a 4-foot 40-watt T17, but that was oddly instant start. I don't know why, it just was. And the other thing is, this is not full wattage. This is what they called a reduced wattage. These are made to run either 100 watt, 90 watt, which is what these are, or the really energy saving one was 85. And then there was even a really weird T12 with the Mogul bi-pin lamp or socket base, whatever you want to call it, that fits in here, that was an extra energy saver. So they were trying to, you know, accommodate people and let them keep their stuff. Because obviously by really like 1955, just a couple of years, probably after this might have been made, they started doing the VHO and HO rapid start lamps, and then GE had the PG17, which was actually a T17 lamp, but with the power grooves. And then they had the T12s as well, which outperformed these quite a bit. And then they took away the 5-foot size, and it was either 6, 8, and then I think that was, for signage, they had like 10-foot lamps, but that's not, you know, normal. And of course they had 4-foot and 3-foot and 2-foot and all that. I think just 2-foot. I don't think they made anything smaller than that. So yeah, it's really cool to see these operating. I want to say these are 90s lamps, like early 90s, I think. This one is newer than the other one. This one I would say is probably like mid-90s, maybe like 94. This one's probably like 91 or 92, somewhere around there. So yeah, really cool that these are working, and I can't wait to install these because I'm hoping in the next place I can have these two fully installed. I won't use them very often because parts are hard to find. I don't know if anybody can find ballast for these anymore, which is why I'm thankful that this is running quite well. See, it says it would draw 1.85 amps. It's drawing 1.83. 219 watts. Power factor of 97. We're sitting at 122 volts right now. Not bad. I mean, I'm just genuinely impressed at this. So now that it's ran for a bit, I'm going to go ahead and let it do another startup here. I think that's been enough time to let it warm up and be happy. There we go. One thing I've noticed about these, probably just the way the starters are, is that they're very slow to start up. Like, they're huge, and it's as if it's asking a giant to get up after a long slumber. It's like, ugh, fine, I will, okay. And it's just like slowly lugging around to try and get up. Because every single one of these that I've tested, which was 3, they always are like this. Now, I've seen a couple that are faster, and I'm going to try, I think I have more of these starters somewhere that I bought. I just grabbed these two because I knew where they were. But I bought a couple of others, and I'm going to try those and see if any of them are faster than these. But I can only imagine what an entire like assembly line, because all the old car plants used to use these, like Ford, GM, Chrysler, whatever. I can only imagine what a whole room of these turning on at one time would have sounded like. Just, oh. Because they have a unique starter sound. I mean, here, I'll give you one more little blip here and get close to it so you can just hear it. It's a very unique sound. Now the other starters I have sound a little different, I guess. Or looking back at my videos earlier, the other ones are a lot more clicky, like they sound heavier, if that makes any sense. So I think I got these off of eBay, but I did buy some off of Light Bulb Depot because, believe it or not, as far as I can see, these things are still made, actually. Or they just have a ton of old stock. Either way, you can still buy these new, is my point. And the bulbs, there's a couple of sites that I think still have some, but they're very hard to find. GE was the last to make these bulbs, and I think they discontinued production. Obviously now they don't even make any fluorescent at all, but I want to say they stopped making these in around 2019. So not too long ago, they were still making these bulbs. And of course, there was really low demand because by that point, hardly anybody even had these. Really, the only place you're going to find this stuff still hanging is in abandoned buildings. Why are you clicking? Oh, there's a bug. I was wondering about that. Like, was the starter still clicking? No, there's a bug bumping off the tubes there. Going crazy. Like, oh my gosh, this is awesome! Ting tong, ting tong. But yeah, I hope to hang these up with the reflectors, of course. I wanted to make a video of this with the reflectors, but then I thought, well, you can't see the ballast or the guts. And it's kind of a pain in the butt in this small space to put all that together. So I'd rather just make this demonstration video here of it taken apart, and then whenever I hang them up, I'll film videos on a tripod with my camera instead of my phone, and then actually show them completely assembled and hanging, for that matter. I really want to get these hung up. It just doesn't make sense in this house to do that, especially because these don't have any thermal protection on the ballasts. These do, and I can get parts for all this stuff easy. Lamps, and I have a ton of F40 lamps, tons of starters. I can get ballast easily. So I'd rather daily use these than those. I want to hang these up and have them as like an auxiliary lighting source for fun only. And to get them off the freaking ground, because these things are huge and they take up a lot of space. They're not fun to store. And I might be getting more of these, actually. Potentially 6 more. I'm debating on whether or not I should buy all the ones from one of my buddies who doesn't want any of his anymore. He has 6. And I'm thinking I might, just because they are really cool, but I might regret that later. But I can also sell them to somebody else if I decide I don't want them. So I suppose, why not? So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about this thing. Again, I want to thank Sean specifically for organizing all of this. Sean was the one who found this place and was able to contact the owner and get a rescue effort organized. And then Jeremy, or also Roger Huffman, helped with that too. And then Jeremy was the one who, it was Funky Bulb here on YouTube and Lighting Gallery. He helped get them down to Texas because he went up there and helped rescue. And he's the one who sold me these and all that stuff, and helped me get some good lamps and all that stuff. So big thank you to all those, and then everybody else who took stuff down. I can't remember all the names because I know there was a lot of people there. But I'm so glad that some of this lighting history was saved. And there were a couple of variations of these fixtures. I think there were some of the bathtub style where they have the fully like walled in porcelain reflectors, which those are really cool, but I bet they're even heavier than these. And then there were also some of the composite cardboard style or whatever fixtures, fiberglass I think, that were saved. Some were left behind. I don't remember if those were F40 or not. There was a lot of F40 fixtures there as well, I should say, and then some mercury vapor stuff and incandescent fixtures and whatnot, and other slimline and VHO crap. They updated their lighting as time went on, but they kept a lot of the T17 stuff in use, probably because the bulbs were still made at the time that they closed down. And I bet you they didn't have the budget really to redo all the lighting, so they just kept whatever they had in working order. So yeah, it's really cool that I have a piece of this. I don't know of any abandoned places locally that even have this stuff, because the fortunate and unfortunate thing about living in Texas is that majority of this state is doing great economically speaking, so there really isn't a lot of abandoned stuff. Generally, there aren't too much of that, and if there is, it doesn't last long enough to be really decrepit. So, like, locally here, where I live, I don't see stuff like this, old factories that are abandoned. They've already been repurposed decades ago, you know, like, so this kind of stuff doesn't happen very often because we're not doing so poorly that things like big old factories just go abandoned for 30 plus years. But up in the Northeast and the Midwest and other areas of the country, I guess that's more common for some reason. Maybe they just aren't doing as well economically or whatever. So we had a ton of this stuff in use, but because we've always done really well, they just over time get replaced or whatever by newer stuff. Like the GM plant here in Arlington, Texas had tons of these back in the day because it was open in the 50s. And that's what they used. I've seen pictures of that stuff. And they were using the T17s up until at least the 90s. But I'm sure by now they don't have any of that in use anymore at that plant. So yeah, that's really about all I have to say about it. I will make another video on both fixtures whenever I eventually install them. And maybe if I don't install them in the next place, I'll put both of them on the floor and get a video of both of them operating to compare. The one that was the loud ballast in one of my startup videos, that one was another friend of mine's light that he had I stored for him for, excuse me, a little bit, and that is now gone. So I don't have that one anymore. I just have two quiet ones. The other one I think is dead silent. This one has a smidge of a hum. It's not bad, but the other one I think is completely silent. I don't feel like lugging it out right now. It's over there behind all the shelving, but yeah, so I look forward to hopefully installing these soon and getting to a little bit of use out of them. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I figured, since no one really has made much videos about these, that I would put one up, of this one at least. And yeah, thanks again for watching, and hope you enjoyed.